Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Ogre Battle, March of the Black Queen. It's time for our first major scenario, Scene 2, Rally. So there's our boss castle. We got a small map, but we still have a lot to do in this map. So we're going to deploy all our units. So our units are mainly going to be going down to the southwest here. We're going to form a little line of defense around that temple there. We also made those water units because we're going to be sending them on this little sea area. There will be some units that will attempt to fly and take over our base. If an enemy unit reaches your base, you lose the map and you get kicked back to the large map screen. So if an enemy takes over a temple or a city that you've liberated, you just lose some of your reputation. So, in order to try to boost our reputation, we'll be sending out our leader, who has a bunch of, good aligned units with him to liberate the cities. So, first we're going to send him out to the middle of this little tiny island to find some buried treasure. So, let's get that treasure. Hopefully we maybe get a weapon or something. Oh, we did get a good weapon, a Sigmund, so that'll definitely help out. We can equip it on one of our characters. Look there, our units all share like a bag of holding, so you can just equip that Sigmund on any unit that's about to fight. So, but it's a really good one. We got a strength plus 19 weapon right off the bat. So, that other octopus unit there, the one with the cleric, it is going to be kind of just a flanking unit. What we're going to do is hopefully get a bunch of the enemy units to come down, fight our unit, that samurai, the witch, and the beastmaster unit. And if they get pushed back and retreated, the octopus unit can flank them and take them away. So enemy AI kind of works their main goal seems to be to charge toward your units and your base. They usually will try to take the most direct path to there based on their movement type. So most of these enemies are going to be plains type units, so they'll be taking the path that we took, that little that little U shape from their base to our base. So that's why we sent 3 of our units down to intercept them. So here we have this little battle here. In our next battle that we get into, I'll describe more of the tactics. So we're lucky that we're fighting on the water, because that's what our unit is. Right now our unit is a water unit, so we have an advantage when we fight in the terrain that our unit is accustomed to. So the way that the terrain that you fight on basically is if 2 units are moving, they'll fight in the ground in the middle of where they're moving to. If a unit is standing still, they will fight on, and an enemy unit meets that unit, they'll fight on the land that your unit is standing still on. So, since my unit here, this octopus unit, is parked on the water, any unit that comes in contact with an enemy unit that comes in contact with it will be fighting on the water. So, octopuses are pretty good. They have 4 front row attacks, so they have a lot of hit points, so they're pretty good at the beginning of the game here. So toward the end, when you get higher level, unlock higher level classes in your smaller units, like samurais, paladins, they'll have 3 attacks. So the beast classes that have 3 innate attacks, like the wolf there, the 2-headed wolf there, the hellhound, won't be as important because their 3 attacks aren't necessarily as meaningful because they're taking up 2 spaces. Remember, you can only have 5 spaces in a unit, and the larger units take up 2, so it'd be better to have 2 smaller units with 3 attacks than 1 large unit with 3 attacks. But to make that up for that, they try to balance it a little bit. They don't necessarily do the greatest job doing it, but beast units tend to have like higher stat growths. So actually, someone did a comparison on Game FAQs, and of like all units at like I think level 25, and the Hellhound had the most stat growth out of all of them. So And we just liberated this temple here. 80 years ago, the Zenobian Empire was built upon the peace brought by the Roshian temples. We were created by Prince Roshian, but we are now persecuted against all throughout the continent by the Empire. However, thanks to you, I know that will all change. We will try our best to help you all whenever we can. If one of you is killed, please go to the nearest temple. We will summon the power of the gods to restore you to life. May the gods walk with you on your journey. And I believe the cost to resurrect a unit is 20 times their deployment cost. So, but we don't have to worry about that because we will not be, having any of our units die in this battle. So, yeah, you can press the R button, like they said in the last map, to zoom out, and you get a bigger, wider screen of the area you're fighting in. So, now, whatchamacallit. Another thing those temples are good for, and one of the reasons why I'm sending that samurai unit back to the temple, is because whenever you're in an occupied temple or city, your characters will slowly regain health. So because I'm not going to be using health restoring items to add some challenge to this game, I'll be doing basically like an aggressive turtling type strategy, where I'll be choosing a location on the map to basically send my units to aggressively meet the enemy, but then I'll turtle around that fortification and rotate units in and out. So right now that samurai unit run out, did a bunch of fighting, got weak, and now they're going to head back to the town and heal. And while they're healing, I'll have my other two units there, the witch and the Beastmaster-led unit, go out and start doing some fighting. One of them gets injured, they'll retreat to the temple, and so the units will recycle like that. So we just wiped out that unit there, so we took care of that. So each stage has a set number of units to it. So for instance, this stage has 10 enemy units in total, and not including the boss, and there's 7 different compositions to them. So basically we have 10 enemy units we're going to fight. We just eliminated 2 of them, so 8 more to go. So, and once we eliminate all the enemy units, well, then all you have to do is take care of the boss. So, liberate another town here. So we have our little defensive in place. So what we're going to do now is we'll start liberating these towns in the back here, since they're now well protected. When you meet with the enemy, where you fight depends on how you are moving. So I kind of explained this a little earlier. If both units are moving, you will fight halfway between where you meet. If one unit is not moving, you will fight on the ground of the unit which is not moving. To give yourself an advantage, try to wait on the type of ground you fight best on. The best way to win a battle is to wipe out the whole enemy unit. But what happens if you can't do that, you ask? In that case, whichever side in battle caused the most damage to the other side is declared victor. However, damage inflicted with the tarot cards isn't counted, so be careful. And also, it doesn't count the damage that is healed. So, say the enemy does 10 damage to you, but you heal all 10 of that damage. It won't be a net, damage of the enemy for 0. They'll still count as doing 10 damage. So if you only did 9 damage, the enemy will win, even though you healed all the damage they did. So even though, like, the clerics really ain't counted in terms of, they won't ever really do damage unless they're in the front row, they are still going to be an important part of my army, because I'll be lacking those healing items. So, but take care of that unit. And once we defeat a unit, as you can see, they usually retreat. If an enemy loses about 50% of its strength, they will retreat to an enemy town or temple. And when they get to that enemy town or temple, what they will end up doing is they will recoup their losses. So for instance, right now, if I defeat this Hellhound, which I just did there, and the wizard survives this battle, he'll go back to that enemy town back there, and he'll pick up a new Hellhound, and then he'll heal himself up a little bit, and then he'll come back to attack. If an enemy unit leader is wiped out, the unit will become like a little skull, and the skull will return back to the enemy base. And there, it'll pick up a new enemy leader, and then it, of course, will return back to the fray to fight you. So that's why it's important that I put up that little flanking unit back there, because in case I take out, you know, say this Hellhound here or another enemy in a unit, before it retreats back to that town, that little octopus unit will be able to sneak in through that little river there and block it from reaching that town, so to heal up. So otherwise you'll just be like endlessly fighting, and so you gotta have a little bit of strategy to you know, prevent the enemy from over swarming you. So enemy tends to use, like I said, a Zerg Rusher tactics, where they just basically charge your enemies and try to charge the enemy base, or your base. So here we have another reason why I have this octopus unit, because one of the units that the enemy has here is this flying unit. So this is the only flying unit that they have. They'll also have a water unit of their own, a witch and an octopus that will also come across the water here to try to sneak in, attack in on your base. So, but the game takes it easy on you this first stage. As you can see, the game isn't really filling up its enemy units. Right now this only has 3 enemies in it. They could have had 2 more small enemies, or maybe another large enemy in that unit to fill it out, but you know, the game takes it easy on you a little bit. So you see that little Valkyrie unit? It took a lot of damage, so it's going to head to an enemy town, and it's going to sit there and heal for a little bit. Very similar to what I'm doing with my samurai unit. So, and now we have moved into nighttime. Your alignment determines how well you fight in certain times. So for right now, like, Hellhounds tend to be evil units, so they'll fight a little bit better at night. So that's why we probably took a lot of damage there from that Beastmaster unit, plus we were fighting on an unknown terrain. But we can retreat our Beastmaster unit and have our Samurai unit come out, because he is healed up in all that time that he was, you know, hanging out in the temple there. So now the Beastmaster will take his place in the temple, heal up, and the Samurai will come out and fight. So we'll have to heal up that Wizard unit with the Octopus, so we'll have Orpheus's unit liberate that town, and then the Octopus unit can go hang out in it and heal up. So now we're not going to be usually fighting mainly with our leader, the opinion leader, Orpheus, for several reasons. One, we want to keep his level low, because then that way the alignment that you get when you defeat enemies of higher level your alignment will go up much faster, higher, and we want to get our alignment up as high as possible, because that'll obviously help with our reputation when we liberate units. Secondly, if Orpheus is defeated in battle, then it's instant game over, so we don't want to expose him to too much danger. So also by keeping his alignment or his level low, it also helps our reputation in a sense, because like I said, the characters, the citizens, don't really like a bully. So if your lord is really overpowered, then unfortunately you may lose reputation. So here we have a shop. Shops are designated by towns. If you click on them, it'll say shop. When you're at a town with a shop in it, you can click the little coin menu, and you can buy different items. We won't be buying any of these items, but sometimes we will find some of these items when we defeat an enemy unit. So sometimes an enemy unit will drop an item. For the most part, I won't be using them though, so now we can move that wizard over onto the little town to heal up. We'll send our other octopus unit up there to block off the witch and octopus unit here, so. Witches can be, even though they're not damage dealers, when they're in the back row, they can be extremely useful because they have that stun attack, which can stun all the enemies. When an enemy is stunned, obviously it can't act. However, if it is hit with a physical attack, it can wake up and start taking its attack. So right now all my characters are stunned, but that octopus has a chance to wake up because it got hit, but it didn't. So, but we still won, so that's okay. So I'm just gonna be having a little bit of a battle there. So I'm going to move the octopus over there to the left, so that way the octopus will focus its attacks on the octopus in that witch's unit, because their octopus is over on the left, on its right side, my left side when looking at it. So we have another hidden temple here, and this is a really important hidden temple because we're going to get a very important item here that'll help us recruit some other characters, and it's kind of necessary to get the best ending in the game. So. Welcome to our temple. We present you with the Star of Heroes. This is a symbol of true heroism. We know that it will help you on your way. And we get the Hero Star. It designates Orpheus as a hero, so. When we get kind of close to the enemy unit there, you can see the base there, the enemy boss unit kind of pops up, but we still don't know who that boss is, so. So here we have another repeat of this unit here. So it's the second unit of this type, the Wizard Hellhound unit. So, I'm just gonna hopefully take it out like we did the other one. So, bonk. Luckily that fireball missed. Which is lucky because the Wizard fights better at night because it's a low alignment unit, and the Samurai fights worse at night because it's a high alignment unit. So, we got lucky there. So, bonk. We still won, but we're still taking a little bit of a beating there with our samurai. So we'll have him retreat, but we have the witch unit there to pick up some slack. And hopefully by the time the witch unit gets injured and hurt, the Beastmaster unit will be fine and he'll be able to come back, so. So right now we got a little octopus duel going on here right now. Donk. And unfortunately we got stunned, but maybe we'll wake up with that octopus hit. Gun. Nope. So, ooh. So if you lose a battle, just like how the enemy when it loses a battle, we get pushed back a little bit. So slight little retreat. You can also retreat on your own, but if you select the retreat option during battle, every single one of your characters in that unit will lose 1 point of charisma. So it can handicap you a little bit, you know, when you're trying to build up to a certain class, but. Charisma is also somewhat built based on the type of enemies you defeat in their levels. Defeat a higher level enemy, you'll get more points of charisma. Defeat a lower level unit, and you can lose charisma. So it's like, you know, if you're a bully and picking on someone weaker than you, you know, lose status. So charisma, once again, another one of those important stats that determine your class progression. So a lot of units can't become leaders if they have a low charisma score. So, but charisma, like I said, is mainly useful for only the units that can become leaders. So like your soldiers, your Amazons. Beasts, since they'll never become leaders because they can't, their charisma score doesn't really matter. However, their alignment can matter because there are certain transformations. So if your Hellhound is evil enough, it can turn into a Cerberus. If your Octopus is neutral enough, it can turn into a Kraken. Giants, base giants can turn into fire giants or ice giants. Dragons are like that too. And speaking of dragons, I mentioned neutral encounters last episode a little bit there. You can get dragons in the mountains in this area. Level 1 dragons can be found in the mountains to recruit to your cause. Hawkmen, which are little flying soldiers, they can be found in the over the deep sea, which is the dark blue water. And golems can be recruited in the forest areas, neutral encounters. In that last place, the Castle of Warren, you can't run into neutral enemies on your own, but if you had a chime, say we found a chime in this area, we can go back to Warren's castle and recruit some enemies, some neutral characters there. And those ones there are dragons, but those dragons are level 8. They're in the deep sea. Warrens, which are high flying like dragons, they're also in the deep sea level 8. And cockatrices, which is kind of like an upgraded griffin, or more evil griffin, they can be found in the mountains, but those are the neutral encounters in the last area. But we won't really be worried about neutral encounters for a little bit. We have more than enough type of enemies in our more than enough units in our army right now, so we'll just be using them. So be monitoring their growth as well, because eventually we'll be getting rid of a lot of these units, because I only want to have I don't want to have too massive an army, and I don't want to be having too many repeat characters, so I want to show off a lot of variety of characters. So there we have a little giant enemy there, a base giant. We have also base dragons, and like I said, based on alignment, they can turn into different types. So you have ice giants, which are the neutral type giant. You have fire giants, which are like the evil type giant, and then you have titans, which are the good type giants. Dragons are green or neutral, then turn into red dragons, which are the neutral. Black dragons are evil, and then silver platinum dragons are the good type. So, and we'll be getting all of them, as the game progresses. Yeah, we'll be, like I said, we're showing off all the different enemy units, or all different unit types that we can pick up in the game. So, we'll also be showing off all the enemy units because, we want to gain experience. That'll help us, like I said, build up our characters and help them promote. So we're going to use an Empress card here. Empress card fully restores the hit points of every unit in your army. So the Samurai is very close to death there, so we didn't want to take a chance on maybe the Hellhound going before the Amazon, so just heal myself up just to be safe. So, blunk. And we had a nice little thing right there. We played a little ping pong there. That's always a good strategy. If you can get like a unit between two of your units, you can kind of play ping pong, where you defeat the unit, it retreats back into your other unit, and then say like if that wizard still was alive, it would retreat back into the samurai, and you just keep bouncing back and forth and until it was finally wiped out off the map. So this unit hasn't been seen in a while. So we got our one of the units that a lot of other Let's Players don't really use a lot of. Is the golem unit up there, because mainly they have they have low hit points, they have high defense, but they have really bad magic resistance. So like if they encountered a wizard, they're pretty much going to be obliterated in like 1 or 2 hits. But they have strong physical defense, so that cleric unit may retreat back to that town because it lost one of its Amazons, so it lost half of its frontline fighters. You saw I changed my alignment, my tactics there to weak. So you have 4 different tactics that your characters can use. You have best, which means that your characters will try to attack the enemy that it can deal the most damage to help you best win the battle. You have strong, where your characters will try to attack, if they can, the unit with the highest hit points. When you're on the strong tactic, though, your characters do less damage, but they also take less damage. So it's more of a defensive, attack scheme. That's the one I'm going to be using a lot because, like I said, I don't have healing items. Conversely, weak means that your characters will try to attack the enemy that has the least amount of hit points, and but in kind of berserking and trying to attack that enemy, their defense will also be lowered, so they'll take more damage in battle. And then finally you have leader, where your characters will attempt to attack the leader of the unit. So that's good if you just want to kind of buy yourself some time. So I'm going to use a tarot card here. The damage of the tarot card is based on the stats of your unit, the opinion leader. So in this case, Orpheus. So Magician deals the damage based on his intelligence. So the higher Orpheus' intelligence would be, the more damage that Magician card would be. Other cards such as like Chariot does physical damage. So the higher Orpheus' strength would be, the more damage it would do. You don't really want to use tarot cards too much because any enemy defeated by a tarot card attack, that experience will go to your lord, the opinion leader. So it can be a way to, unfortunately, you know, overpower your lord inadvertently. So, like I said, we want to try to keep our lord's levels lower to a certain point. Eventually, we're going to do some alignment farming later on to build up his alignment, but until then we're going to try to keep his level as low as possible. So let's finish off this unit, and that's the only flying unit, and hey, we got a level up there. So level up characters based on their class will gain a random set of stats. So like for instance, like the soldiers might get anywhere between 2 and 4 points of strength, 3 and 5 hit points, I think 2 to 4 points of agility, and certain classes gain different things. So, like a cleric there, a witch in the back, they won't gain as much strength as a melee unit like a fighter, but they'll gain more intelligence than a fighter. So, like a class like a ninja will gain more agility. So, but now we've effectively ensured that we'll never lose a battle to this cleric, because that cleric in the back row can't do any damage, but it can heal itself. So. But I wouldn't be surprised if that cleric, yep, it's going to retreat back to that little town, or that city, and it'll pick up 2 new Amazons. So, unfortunately, we don't have any way to block it from reaching there because our flanking unit was pulled away because it had to fight that octopus witch unit. So, now I said a lot of times we're not going to have our character Orpheus' unit get into a lot of combat, but right now Orpheus' unit has lands in it, so we will do some combat with him because we've got some special dialogue, but we'll see that next episode. Take care, have a good day. Bye!